What is going on? Welcome to episode 123 of the Lootcast. I'm your host, N64 Josh, and there's no player 2. Uh-oh. I started this show all wrong. The Lootcast starts now. What is going on? Welcome to episode 123 of the Lootcast. Hatred shaped like a man, that is aka Destinot. No co-host tonight. He called in sick. His daughter is sick. So no Guardian Outposts tonight. Just me. We're gonna talk loot boxes. Everybody in the chat, you get to be my co-host. So we're gonna talk about this stuff because it's been a little bit of a crazy week when it comes to gaming and the way people treat each other online. So that's fun. But before we get into that, if you would like to get yourself a free book from Audible, you can go to audibletrial.com/thelootcast. There you can get one of the books I'm really recommending a lot right now is Super Mario, How Nintendo Conquered America, but there's tons of books. So anything you're interested in, I'm sure you'll find something. That's audibletrial.com/thelootcast. The chair I'm sitting in, OPC. You can go to opc.com and use coupon code GO for Guardian Outpost and save yourself $10 off a gaming chair. And lastly, if you'd like to start your own podcast, that's right, your very own podcast, go to podbean.com. I'm going to give you my other show's code, but it's podbean.com/NPC. And do a free trial. See if it's for you. Get your voice out there. Be heard. Say nice things. You know, it's good stuff. Oh, for Audible, Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad. That's what I don't know what to call him anymore. It was Destinot. We'll just call him Was Destinot. Because Hatred Shaped Like a Man is such a long name. So, but yeah, go to podbean.com/NPC. Start your own show. It's the company I use for all my podcasts. So I really, really recommend them. And he said to call me Daddy. Okay, well, that got awkward. This show is live Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific. A little late tonight, but it's all right. It's all right. 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/N64Josh. You'll be able to find all of the links or anything that I mentioned tonight at thelootcave.com/episode 123. And I think that's all the housekeeping. We can get into this week. So for me anyway, there's not a whole lot on the Destiny front. I haven't turned the game on in something like probably 5-6 weeks, maybe longer. Still don't hate the game, just not really playing it. And I figured, you know what, this is the Lootcast. Let's talk about loot boxes, because that seems to be the hot topic of the day. Basically starting off yesterday with seeing a tweet from Mixer's community manager, Josh Stein, said, "Why am I waking up to seeing that game developers are having their lives threatened?" And of course, this has to do with Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2, the game everybody loves to hate, apparently. So, developers getting their lives threatened. People hate the monetization strategy that EA put in place for Star Wars. Basically, they don't want to have to grind too much to get certain characters. They just want certain characters for free, or have them just available at the start. And I get it. This is not a simple subject. Just to have your opinion on and not hear two sides of the story. Like Jimmy Pike's putting a police penguin in the chat right now. So, like I said, I'm going to bounce stuff off of chat, and we're just going to talk about this because, one, threatening somebody is not okay. Threatening somebody's life, not okay. I think we can all agree on that, especially when it comes to a piece of software. You know, you can choose not to play it. That's a simple solution there. Threatening somebody's life, not acceptable. Not acceptable. Whether you're going to follow through with it or not, it's not acceptable. Jimmy Pike says it's a video game, and that's exactly what it is. It's just a video game. So why are we so upset? What is going on in the mind of gamers that I mean, it's even trending on Twitter that Battlefront is unpopular in is already unpopular amongst players, and it's not even out yet. There's early access from EA Access, and that's pretty much it. And it's been nothing but, I mean, it was the most downvoted. I'm going to look it up. It was the most downvoted thread on Reddit. And when I looked at it, it was at like 300,000 downvotes. The first one before that, like the old number one was like 24,000, and that was from somebody saying, "Hey, everybody downvote this as fast as you can." So, let's see if I can find it quickly here. Who knows? It may have been deleted for all I know. But I don't know. It's unfortunate that basically this, I don't know. It's hard to, like I said, this is a hard topic to cover. It's hard to try to, I want to look at it as critically as possible, right? On one hand, you've got this mob mentality that's like, basically picked up their pitchforks and said, you know, we're going to make EA change their practice by force, more or less. You know, so all those downvotes and everything, I mean, most of the comments, I'm canceling my pre-order. I've canceled my pre-order. I've canceled my pre-order. And Jimmy Pike says, as much as we complain about Destiny and what's wrong with it, in its current state as a community, it's never come to anything like that, which I'm pretty proud of. Hatred shaped like a man. We always hear about the vocal minority. As gamers that listen to podcasts, watch streams, and read blogs, we are closer to these games than the casual fan. The casual fan won't ever hear about any of this. Yeah, that's true, but that's a lot of people on Reddit, man. That's a lot of people to downvote this thing. And I mean, I want to kind of even just look at, you know, look at people's state of mind, right? Like, what is going on in somebody's head that says, you know what, I need to send a life-threatening message to somebody that, you know, maybe created a tree in Battlefront 2. What's happening there? Why, like, is your life so wrapped around gaming that, like, if the game doesn't come out exactly how you want, is something going to, like, are you going to be okay? You know, what's happening? What's happening in your head? Like, maybe it's time to disconnect and go outside or something. Like, see what it's like to interact with real people, that you don't threaten their life on a you know, ever, because it's just not what you do as a person. Like, you know, the word entitled is thrown around often, you know, and it's not a word that I like to just throw out there, but that's kind of what this behavior is. Like I'm being wronged because I'm not getting the game I want. Like a 2-year-old being told no. It's gotta stop. It's gotta stop. Somebody, like, where are these people's parents? Jimmy Pike says people are threatening someone that has done nothing but spend their time attempting to make something they hope you enjoy. Exactly. That's exactly what they've done. And the thing is, there's a few things I want to point out about Battlefront 2, because And this does tie into Destiny as well, because they have the same problem. Okay, these companies are looking for ways. Um, I'm I'm having to make an assumption here because I don't have the evidence in front of me. I don't have the actual numbers in front of me. But games that are selling at $60 a pop, are they bringing in what the investors are wanting to see when a game sells, or are these monetization strategies are they a necessity in order to make the quota of what they're supposed to make? That's the question I have. If the $60 isn't enough, and look, the price of games, we've said it before, I've said it before on this show, I've seen a lot of people tweeting about it and stuff too, like, because of inflation, the price of games should be more like 117, 120, $125 a piece. Okay, right around there. Double what we pay now. And that's a hefty price tag. I mean, look, the like you can buy a Nintendo 2DS for like 150, 75 for the just the wedge, right? You're talking about buying like games costing as much as the console at that point. What I want to figure out, what I would love to see is what are some of these um, what are some of these numbers? Why do these monetization strategies have to be in place? Is it because of inflation? Is it because of greed? You know, is it because they're a business and they just want to see more money coming in? Is it because Battlefront 2 said, hey, we're going to give you free DLC, but they have to pay for it somewhere? There's still hours going into making content for this game. Nothing's ever really free. Somebody has to pay for something. It's not like they're going to go, okay, we've got our volunteer department over here. Go ahead and start working on that free content, and thank you guys for donating your time. No, these people got to get paid. Jimmy Pike says, I can't speak on Battlefront's behalf because I haven't played it. But there is literally nothing in Destiny that you have to pay that will impact your experience at all. Correct. The big thing with Battlefront is that the loot boxes had somewhere of like a 40-hour grind, and it was still tied, like from my understanding, still somewhat of a RNG situation, and you may or may not get the character that you want. So if you want to play as Luke, the fastest way to do it would be to pay extra. If you want to pay as Vader, the fastest way to do it would be to pay extra. Hatred Shaped Like a Man says, some games are designed to make money. Some games are more art. The issue is people can't fathom all games not being treated as art. We can have both. People get mad when the game they like has items that they can't get in that $60 box. Okay, good point. And this is a perfect segue right into what I think is going to be kind of my main point of this whole thing. What is a better monetization strategy? Okay, why does Overwatch get a pass on this? No one really seems to care that Overwatch has loot boxes. Halo 5 has loot boxes, yet nobody really seemed to care. Now, those were mainly cosmetic. But from what I've heard, people saying that if they've played Battlefront 2 early access, they're like, okay, I didn't buy any loot boxes. Somebody else bought a bunch of loot boxes. They have a few things that are better than me, but it hasn't really made the game unbalanced. So it's basically, at the end of the day, just cosmetic things. But yeah, so I mean, and Hatred Shaped Like a Man says Overwatch and Halo are pure cosmetic. Halo's not pure cosmetic because it gave you better weapons to use during the I can't remember the other game, a Warzone, I think is what it was called. So, um, but and again, I can't speak firsthand because I haven't played enough of Battlefront with the loot boxes or whatever. But from some of the tweets I have read, the people that are like, I've spent no money, I've seen stuff, I've seen people that have better stuff, and it doesn't really seem to affect the game all that much. So um, there's more. There's layers on top of Battlefront. There's a few things that we've got to unpack basically. So Overwatch gets a pass. Halo kind of basically got a pass. Battlefront does not. Okay, so the first step with this whole monetization strategy is you have to have something that you want. Um, the company has to put something in front of you that you want to buy. Okay, well, there's already a red flag for all gamers at that point because they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. If I want this, I've already paid $60 for this game. Why don't I already have it? Okay, so that's a red flag right there. Well, I mean, even the cosmetic stuff. I mean, look, I haven't opened a single loot box in Overwatch. That doesn't mean I don't want some of the cool skins for Tracer because that's who I made. And when I do eventually open them, I'm hoping I get some cool stuff for her. Same with Halo. I loved it was that like pull the handle on the slot machine and see what you get, you know? And I even threw money at it. Maybe I'm part of the problem. I had no problem doing that though. It was my choice. They didn't force me to do it. But I wanted some of the other gear. I wanted some of those legendary pieces of armor. They made zero difference in the game. I don't even think people could really see that you had a legendary, or I don't even know, there was like a legendary or rare, that kind of stuff. Nobody even knew. It wasn't like some kind of trophy piece. It was literally just for me to know. So, Battlefront says, hey, we've got loot boxes and we're going to put good stuff in it because we want you to spend your money. We want to be able to fund the rest of the DLC, so we've got to put stuff in these loot boxes to get people to pay for the DLC. So that may mean, you know, Joe Blow over here buys like $80 worth of loot boxes, $100 worth of loot boxes, and he Adrian shaped like a mess as I can't type fast enough to respond to all these questions. Well, you'll have a chance now. Um, so you have, you know, essentially you have other people paying for the content for you, right? But let's see. Kirby Geek says it was probably some gold, ugly, tacky color too that you paid for. It's like a double strike for me. So hey, and again, but all of Halo's content, all of the DLC, free. None of the maps were really that great. Nothing was really memorable in that game. The best part of that game was the armors for your Spartan. It's what I had the most fun with Halo 4, and I even think Halo Reach. You know, getting to customize your Spartan for the first time. That was fun. But Battlefront has some issues, right? So, like I was saying, these companies have to put items that we want to buy in front of us. Destiny doesn't really have anything that dangles that carrot that goes, man, I should go spend $5 on this. I bought a couple of the bright engrams just to, you know, get a few more shaders or whatever, but wasn't really anything that I really felt like I had to have. But if they put anything too good in there, the community would lose its mind. It would lose its mind. Why is this content behind a paywall? I paid $60. I should have all of this content, especially in a game that seems starved for content again. Why is this stuff here? Well, I mean, the simple answer is business. They want to make more money so they can, you know, make more content, more games, be successful and show the investors that this was a good move for Activision to acquire Bungie and yada yada yada, all that stuff. It's all, it's like doing the deal with the devil. It has to, it kind of has to happen. So, um, Hatred Shaped Like a Man says, I also feel that the loot box structure hits close to home for some. People with money can buy whatever they want. People without money have to grind and work for what they want. Games used to be the great equalizer that anybody could pay 60 for and feel like a superhero, soldier, sports star, right? I mean, and now that's even that. I mean, we're even seeing for the first time in history, somebody was mentioning that like, um, we're seeing uh, basically in technology, we're seeing this same kind of thing. Like the new iPhone comes out, and you've got the iPhone X that is $1,000, right? Then you've got the 8 that's only like 600, still a big chunk of change for both, but one's going to have a higher bill. So like there's this separation even with the Xbox, right? You've got the Xbox X, and then you've got the S. I mean, there's almost like tiers in technology now, and that same kind of thing happens with these loot boxes. It's like, oh, this person can just pay for everything, and I don't have that option, and and I don't have the time, so I can't keep up. So I mean, I get it. In my opinion, the loot boxes are great for a free to play style of game. They're okay even with games like Overwatch, where it is strictly cosmetic and you're getting nothing that makes you play better, move faster, shoot more, better ammo, whatever. But I feel like it's time for the companies to stop looking at what mobile games did and start their own path on what they can do to generate income, to monetize their games. There's got to be a better way, and that's on them to get creative. I mean, it's that way for any other business trying to grow the size of their business. Trying to increase revenue. They got to get creative. They got to think about it. They've got to figure it out. Kirby asked, do they split the groups, or are the people who paid for this stuff in the group who doesn't? I feel like maybe there was more to that sentence, but maybe it just splits the groups further. Maybe that would be the answer to that question. It kind of draws the line. But let's get back to Battlefront 2 though. So let's go back even further. I'm sorry, but back to Battlefront 1. Okay, this game, Battlefront 1. DICE was given a very small window to produce a Star Wars game, and that was very apparent based on the amount of content in the game. You really didn't get the full experience, you didn't feel like you got the $60 experience until you paid the $100 to have everything in that game. And unfortunately, EA did something that was not very cool, and they did a special edition of the game that all it did was unlock better guns by buying it early. And that was it. And here's a quick question from the chat. It says, what if you linked your Facebook, Twitter, Farmers Only account to the game, and every time you promote the game, you get more in-game currency? Oh. Oh man. So we become advertisers at that point. Then you just described the way Facebook games work, and you want to get more plants for Farmville or whatever. You want more crops. Hey, just invite your entire friends list and let them know what you're playing. Oh my gosh, no, please no. Um, so Battlefront 1, though, it was thin. It was thin on content. And the community cried out, hey, we want story. We want Star Wars story to play through. We genius, he says. um, we want story. We want more content. Like, the gameplay was on point. It was fun, but it was essentially like a very um, like just basic shooter. You had like just a handful of weapons that literally all felt the same, almost sounded the same. There was not much difference between any of them, and those same weapons kind of just stuck with you no matter what timeline you were in. There was just some odd choices. You had a few things you could do split screen. They weren't all that fun. Like they tried to spread that content out as much as they could, and it just made it look thin. That saying from Lord of the Rings. I think it's um, Bilbo Baggins says, "I feel like butter spread over too much bread." Right, and that's basically what they did with Battlefront 1. They're like, here, we got this, maybe $40 game, but we're gonna spread it out over a $60 price tag and see what happens. And we can see right through it. We can see right through it. Now, that wasn't just due to greed. That was due to a time thing, right? And everybody, because it's EA, they're instantly hated on. Like they don't get any kind of grace whatsoever from the gaming community. So it's like, oh, look at this, the full experience for Battlefront right off the bat, $100, the full experience. And then they're like, oh, here's the special edition too, thinking it had exclusive content. No, it just had stuff you could unlock faster for $70. So they got an extra $20 from me. I had never seen this strategy before. I'm like, this is really a thing? It was. It was. So not cool, guys. Not cool. I ended up waiting until the entire collection became like, I think I got it for $19 digitally. So, that was fine. And the game was fun. The space battles were fun. The DLC they added was great. It's just that game was not a complete package until all of the DLC came out. And that's not okay. That's not okay. The game, they banked on the Star Wars name, sold it for $60, and it should have been probably $39.99 tops um, would be where I would put it. And especially since you had DLC coming out at that price, the DLC should have come out for a little less as well. But again, that's on them. But what did they do? They listened to the community. They said, okay, we're not going to do paid DLC, which there's no way they can't do that. That's why loot boxes were introduced. And we're also going to do a story. And they got they got a lot of actors involved, a little bit of story that I've seen. This game looks amazing. You're playing as Luke, like um, I can't wait to jump in. I watched Fran Mirabella play it for a little bit last night. I didn't want to watch too long because I'm like, I don't want to get this spoiled. But like, he's playing as Luke Skywalker and doing missions, and there's like tons of dialogue. I mean, not a small amount of cutscenes, like a ton. And that that to me shows that, hey, they listened and they're giving us the content that we want. Yet nobody seems to pick up on that at all. Nobody seems to really notice it. They just hate on them. Hatred Shaped Like a Man says people hate on EA, but they still make tons of money. I don't think people at EA care what some internet peasant says about them. If people really want to be mad at someone, be mad at all the reviewers that praised that game and said it was worth $60. Oh, I don't know. That might have been me. I hope it wasn't, but um, let's not go back and find out. I know I enjoyed the game. I just wish it didn't cost $60, or technically $100. So, but that's the thing. EA just carries a lot of hate, But they have their faithful that buy their FIFA, buy their Madden year after year. I mean, those games just sell just truckloads, and so they just print their money. They print money, but and I mean, you know, it's lonely at the top. Also true, man. Also true, and and I mean, good on EA for having a successful business. Like, I don't like to. Um, it's an odd thing, and I think I mentioned it, but like we cheer for the person that's like their business is growing right up until the point that they like become like a corporation or they become like just like corporate America, and then it's like now you're the enemy. It's like it's a weird thing that companies are only allowed to get so big before they become the villain. So that's another topic for another time. But it is strange, and some of their practices have got them to that point. But Kirby Geek says, but most people that buy those are unaware of these things. But I feel even if they were, they would still buy FIFAs and Maddens because who else is challenging against them? Right. There is no other soccer game other than like I think it's called like Football Coach or something. That's across the pond. It's huge over there, or it's like some kind of football strategy game, which is a soccer. But so and then, but yeah, football wise, who? There's no one else. They've basically got a monopoly on that. So they make very few tweaks year after year, and really what they could put out in an update or DLC and put the Madden series on a like a 3-year cycle or something, so they really put out something stellar. It's just kind of a cookie cutter year after year, and so that's part of the reason that people view them the way they do. But I do want to get back to the point that Battlefront 2, they did listen. They did put in story. They said we're not doing paid DLC. But the the loot boxes. I mean, and look, what did we just see with like Shadow of War loot boxes? It was not good. It was not good. People were not happy. YouTubers like Angry Joe, they just go off on loot boxes. He just goes off, and same with like Jim Sterling, like that guy. He hates loot boxes as well. So, and I think a lot of their mentality is it should be for free to play games. Like if you're going to give me Star Wars Battlefront 2 for free, put whatever loot boxes you want in there. But that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. So Kirby says if Jar Jar Binks was loot box only, the world wouldn't care. Never say poor Jar Jar. Never feel sorry for Jar Jar. But I don't know. So all that being said, I am excited to play Battlefront. I'm excited to play a Star Wars campaign. Everything that I've been hearing about it, as far as the game goes, has been pretty positive. It's just unfortunate that this mob has formed and that threats have been made. I don't know. It's just kind of a mess. It's kind of a mess. And I think there's this huge disconnect between gamers and the companies that make their games not understanding that it is true. It's business. That's what it boils down to. I mean, you've got guys that like, his name escapes me, but it's Jonathan something. He made the game Braid, right? I mean, he just made that game by himself. Stardew Valley was developed by one person. Like, and you've got these beautiful little indie games that aren't all that well funded. They're just passion projects, sometimes by people that are still working full-time jobs, and they're great little games. But you're not going to get a game of the level of Star Wars Battlefront or Destiny from one person. I mean, these are teams of like 500 people, like going out and recording sounds like and doing motion capture and the models and everything. There's so much that goes into it that there has to be a business side of it. There's no way around it, you know. And if you really truly are like, oh, I'm done with this, I'm not doing it anymore, then, you know, just play indies, just support the indies. And if but I have a feeling if somebody like me, I'd be like, I need a AAA title again. I've been playing Doom on the Switch, and I'm like, man, I like these. I'm so stoked to see these AAA titles coming over to the Switch. You know, Mario Odyssey, AAA title. I'm loving it. Um, Hatred Shaped Like a Man says, what if we view it this way? Movie tickets for a blockbuster movie are the same as tickets for a B movie. The blockbuster um, has tons of merch to sell you, games, soundtrack, toys. The B movie has nothing, and games are the same way. $60 for the ticket to ride with a ton of side merch. Yeah, I mean, it's basically what it is. Like, even, you know, even like Amiibo, um, it, it's very similar. You know, essentially, movies are commercials for the other products. I mean, as a child of the '80s, most of the cartoons I watched were nothing more than commercials for the toys that they were trying to sell us during the commercials of those shows. I mean, that's basically what Transformers was. It was just a commercial to sell me cars that turned into robots. I loved the heck out of it, so it was the best marketing you could possibly have. Every birthday or Christmas, Mom, I need a new Transformer. Mom, I want He-Man. Mom, I want Ninja Turtles. That's essentially the way it was, and I mean, I feel like it's shifted some. I don't feel like my kids were like marketed to in that way all that much. Maybe they didn't watch that much TV, you know. But I think times have changed somewhat. It's not the same kind of thing. Like, I sat down and watched Star Wars Rebels, and even my kids watching that, I don't think they would want to rush out and go buy the toy. But when I was a young kid in the '80s, that's all I wanted. I wanted those toys. I wanted to, you know, the show was basically free. It came in over my antenna for free. But they made all their money from the merchandise they sold after the fact. So essentially it was free to play back then, right? And that worked. That worked. Toy companies made billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. So I don't know. I don't know. I just wanted to kind of address this, talk about this. I know sometimes these solo shows are not the most fun, and I was hoping to talk about this with Geo, but you know, he's got a sick kid, and that's fine. And we may touch on it a little bit more next week, but I. I'm not. I don't want to come across like I'm like the white knight for EA. Like, they've got some shady business practices. There's no question there. But I feel like DICE is kind of getting the short end of the stick because they're like, look, we listened, we gave you campaign, we gave you more of a game. Like, there's so much, from the looks of it anyway, there's a ton of content in this game. There's a ton of content. And Hatred Shaped Like a Man says, I will white knight EA. EA is awesome. Buy it. Buy it now. Buy it now. So, but this looks like a great game. I'm going to spend my $60 on it. I want to jump into a new Star Wars adventure. During the holidays, when I have family here, my uncle's here hanging out, we're going to be split screening Star Wars Battlefront 2, because that's like, he loves doing the space battles and the flying missions and that kind of stuff. I can't wait. I can't wait. We played the heck out of the first one, even though there wasn't that much there. There was like 4 missions that we could do. We ended up just taking turns playing online dogfights, and we had a blast. And I think in this one we can actually go in with split screen, and we're gonna have that much more fun. So there's gonna be fun. There's fun to be had there for me. You know, you've got to ultimately make your choice on what you want to do with your money. Loot boxes, no matter what's in them, I've always just thought, like, I can buy them if I want to, but nobody's forcing me. Nobody's forcing me. And what's funny, like I had some people say from the desk. I think it was Henny was like, the Destiny community is like, we need more to grind for, and the Battlefront community is like, we don't want to grind, we just want everything. So coming from the Destiny community, like, believe me, you want to grind some, otherwise there's no reason to keep playing. It adds another layer of reason to keep going. Okay, well, oh, you said it. You said it too. Hatred shit like a man. I saw it from multiple places. So he says I said that, but f me, right? No. Don't make me laugh, dude. My cough from my cold will come back, and it'll just be all unpleasant. This is why I changed my name. Oh man. So, that's that. Like, if you want to get involved in the conversation, hit me up on Twitter at N64Josh. There's a comment section at thelootcave.com/episode 123. You can you can let me know your thoughts there. Come over to my Discord. Like, there's a link to it in the show notes. So I'd love to talk about it more. I just want to make sure that it just stays cordial, that's all. Kirby Geek says maybe Henny paid to get his comment viewed first. I think that was the case. I think that is what happened. Let's see. It was the free grind option, so he had to wait to be seen. I'm not even going to try with that one, but I do want to touch on real quick, just with our streaming conversation. It's basically there was a big update to Twitch, and you can now track your progress towards like partnership and becoming an affiliate, and they have all kinds of achievements now. So it's kind of cool. It something that people often say is don't focus on the numbers, just have fun and do your thing and just let it grow organically. This throws all the numbers in your face all the time. So you will be seeing that if you go and look at it. But if you want to see if partnership is your goal, I can check it right now and see that the only thing that's keeping me from partnership is like 55 viewers per stream, basically. Kirby Geek says, "Oh no, achievements for streaming for Josh." You're shaped like a man. I've heard to stream games no one else is, so you are at the top of the directory all the time. Also an excellent idea. There you go. Pro tip right there. Just play games that nobody's watching, and you will be at the top of that directory. That no one's there. It's a good call. It's a good call. But no, if you want to be able just to kind of track each stream and that kind of stuff, it shows you everything, and it's a nice feature. I wouldn't recommend checking it after every single one. Like, don't get hung up on the numbers. If streaming is your thing, just enjoy it as a hobby. Grow your community. Love that community. Have a good time with them, and that's gonna be where you have the most fun. So, Kirby Geek says, "Guys, I gotta stream League of." This is in a Josh voice, by the way. "Guys, I gotta stream League of Legends so I can get my 5 achievement points." That's not how it works, but thank you very much. I gotta go. One of the achievements was literally buy a TwitchCon ticket. So you can pay for achievements now. So there you go. I was like, oh, am I gonna have to do this? I only kid. So, but have fun streaming. That's what it's all about. It's really a blast, and the numbers will come with time. Just be consistent. Be there on a regular basis. You can check to see how consistent you are, how many hours you stream that month, that kind of stuff. That's what unlocks achievements. So Twitch's loot box, every 1 in 1 million is a partnership. Oh my goodness. People just start throwing money at Twitch at that point, trying to get their partnership. So, well, guys, I want to just say thanks for hanging out with me in chat. Hatred Shaped Like a Man, Kirby Geek, anybody that's just lurking, thank you. Thank you for being here. Like, I appreciate it that you're willing to keep the tab open and hang out with me. Even if you don't ever type anything, I think it's great. So, thank you. This show happens live Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There's Jimmy Pike. He's still here, just chilling like a villain, with his little creepy emote. I can't even tell what it is, but it's a Lumi haha. So, it's definitely a creepy one. Twitch.tv/N64Josh, Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Guardian Outpost usually joins me, and we're gonna kind of just do more of this like conversational, just chats about like whatever topics. And when Destiny's hot, we're gonna talk a lot about Destiny. And when Destiny is kind of cold, we may not talk about it because I don't want to be negative about the game. I really watch the numbers on the shows where we're more negative, and they really just take a dive. And it's just not. It's not just about the numbers, but I want this to be an enjoyable show for people. So he even messaged me tonight, and he's like, "It's probably best that I'm not on. I just feel extra salty tonight about Destiny." So I was like, "Hey, cool, man. Just snuggle that little girl because that goes by quick." So. That's what he's doing. Send him a little bit of love. Go see him. He's still streaming every day. So go see him in the mornings. Remember, guys, get a free book from Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/the lootcast. opseat.com. Use coupon code GO. And lastly, if you want to start your own podcast, go to podbean.com/NPC. And NPC stands for Nintendo Powercast, which I will be recording in about an hour if you want to come hang out live. And my guest tonight is a guest we've had on here by the name of Mega Magwitch. And we are going to have a very heated debate about the Nintendo 64. So if you end up missing it live, you can check out a podcast feed. Just look up Nintendo Powercast wherever you listen to podcasts, and you'll find it. But thank you so much, guys, for listening. Thank you for being here live. Thank you for the reviews and the retweets and all that stuff. We really do appreciate it. And so, Hatred Shaped Like a Man, what? How the N64 was trash? See? There you go. We're going to have a very good conversation. So, thank you so much. And we'll see you next week for episode 124. Later. 48-minute solo show. That's not too shabby for me. Who should we go and show some love to? There's this new raid option. It's kind of fun. Thanks, guys, for hanging out and being my co-host. I do appreciate it. Who's on? You guys want to see? Let's do Miss Team KK. She's one of my favorites. She's super nice, super friendly. Here we go. Let's see. Make sure and let him know that Mega Man 2 is the best Mega Man. I will do that for sure. I will definitely do that. So, there we go. There's the raid, guys, right up at the top, I think. I don't know what it looks like in on mobile when you do this. I haven't done it yet, but I think you can just click and it'll take you to the channel. I'm not real sure. But anyway, there's Miss Team KK. You can go say hi if you want to. Blow up or chat with some emotes, whatever. And thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. And we'll see you in a little bit. We'll get this one uploaded and we'll get started on the next one. So later.